Hello everyone, All 22 and a few film review, giving you guys the next episode of Draft Wraps, my draft class analysis series where we dive deep into all 32 classes, giving you guys analysis on how I feel about every pick based upon where they went, relation to my big board, relation to who's left on the board positionally. Is it a team need? Is it a scheme fit? We have role projections and paths to starting for all picks. So if you want to learn more about the Falcons class, Panthers was the last video, or about any of the other 31 classes in the NFL, then make sure you stick around as we get through all 32 classes. As always, if you guys have a question about anything you see up on your screen during today's video, go look in the description for, descriptions on basically anything that's up there as far as grading, rubrics, abbreviations, anything that's up there. And if it's not in there, come scream at me in the comments so I can make sure to put it up in there. Without further ado, let's get into the Falcons class. It's going to be a very short video. Only had 5 picks, and they went very, very simple with this class. Only 3 different positions pick total, 2 different positions in their first 4 picks, which were all in the first 4 rounds. So basically 2 positions in 4 rounds, and then a 7th rounder at a 3rd position. Not a whole lot of variability in this class. What this tells me is that the Falcons think they're just a pass rush and some secondary help away from winning this division. A very, competitive division for the teams in it. It seems like for the last 5 years, if you can get out to 9-10 wins in this division, you can most likely win the division given the tiebreakers, divisional wins, kind of stuff like that. They believe they're right there. I do believe that this class is going to be able to help them win the division this year. I'm not saying they're outright going to do it, but I think this gives them the immediate pieces they need to win the division this year. Does it help them get farther than that this year? I'm not 100%, confident in that. This class gets a B for me, a straight 3.0 out of my numerical grade, a grade that I got the numerical grade comes from my equation that I made, so you guys have a more concrete feel about how I feel about all the different classes, especially ones with the same letter grade, so you can see how close they are, how they stack up, all that good stuff. Also, they get beneficiary factors for hitting team needs, also for day 3 picks, being able to come in right away and compete for immediate roles, even if it's not immediate starting roles, just immediate roles where they're going to get a decent amount of snaps, some significant snaps. They get a B for me, a solid class. This mostly just comes down to the fact that they came into this class with only 6 picks, and I thought they had a number of holes to fill. And like I said, they took 2 different positions in their first 4 rounds, and then a lineman in the 7th. So I really didn't feel like they filled everything. I would have loved them try to go after center at least some point. I know it's a real thin center class, but you lost Drew Dahlman. You didn't do anything to try to replace him. They lost Grady Jarrett. I know they have David Onyemata and Ruka Rororo. I would have loved to see them try to get someone else in there just to compete, or at least develop behind those guys in case, Ruka Rororo doesn't end up working out. You look at corner, they just brought in Mike Hughes, but they have AJ Terrell as well. Outside of that, I like Clark Phillips more on the inside than the outside. You don't have a ton of depth outside of that. I'm not really moved by Mike Ford Jr. Would have loved them to see corner at some point. Wide receiver, you have Drake London, you have Darnell Mooney, you have Ray McLeod. Outside of that, it gets real thin, like Kadarrell Hodges, I think Chris Blair. If Drake London or Darnell Mooney go down, this room's going to look real thin real soon. So that's mainly why it gets a B for me. Just a lot of needs, but they didn't choose to really fill any of them besides 2. Let's get into the class here, though. They take Jalen Walker with their first pick, an edge out of Georgia, James Pierce Jr., an edge out of Tennessee, then Xavier Watts, a safety out of Notre Dame, Billy Bowman Jr., a safety out of Oklahoma, then Jack Nelson, a tackle out of Wisconsin. Jalen Walker, was edge / off-ball at Georgia. This was a little bit early for me. I didn't view him as a true first-rounder just because he's really scary for me early down as an edge, and if you want to play him off-ball, then I don't think he's near the first round. Someone that rushes the passer with first-round talent, first-round athleticism, explosiveness, has power in his hands. Still very, very raw in terms of tool belt, his plan, how to counter. But you just can't teach that explosiveness, that get off, that athleticism around the edge. This was a guy that I understood was probably going to go in the first, but these project types, especially at edge, it's really, really hard. They have to go somewhere where someone is going to have a plan for them and make them really learn one position and focus on it and grow into it. Now, that being said, I do think this is the perfect place for him to go. If you told me Jalen Walker was guaranteed for the top 20, I'd want him going to the Cardinals or to the Falcons. Those are the two landing spots where I think the DC, or in those cases, the head coach, but still the defensive coordinator for those teams, basically, I think they would get the most out of a Jalen Walker. More of 3-4 attacking schemes that love to blitz, love to make people move around, loop around. A lot of just different looks, stunts, twist, fronts, all that good stuff. That's where Jalen Walker's going to excel at. Just get him moving around, get him on schemed up matchups. I'm concerned still a little bit with him going to the Falcons. You talk about Arnold Ebiketie and Leonard Floyd there. Two guys that I don't necessarily love as early down guys. I feel like taking Jalen Walker this early, they might want to give him early down reps. That's a little bit concerning to me. Maybe they move him back to linebacker for early down reps, but I feel like that might hurt his overall development. I feel like you want him to just focus on the edge if you're going to be drafting him here this high, especially for this scheme. Now, if he's playing early down, I feel like it's going to be very, very lumpy, bumpy first year for him on early downs. Pass rushing is still probably going to give you some nice production, but it scared me a lot as an early down guy. Just didn't translate the strength in the run game, didn't see the game very quickly from the edge, invited blockers into his chest a lot, got moved around a lot. Still has all, like I said, the strength, the athleticism to be able to do it, but he has a lot of growing to do. He needs to learn how to see the game faster. He needs to learn how to translate that strength. I don't think it's out of his game. He can definitely do it. Everyone at Georgia raves about this kid's, work ethic, his character. So I believe it's possible. It's there for him. It is concerning for me. It does get an A- because of the value. I had him at 39 on my big board, taken at 15. He was my sixth edge in the class, the third one taken off the board. Like I said, I understand why he goes this high. An A- for me because of the value, but it would be more of a B- based off the true value, but because he's going to the Falcons, and I think this is kind of the perfect landing spot for him in the first round, it's more of an A-. Also considering the fact that the Falcons finally end their drought of not taking edges after Vic Beasley and Jack McKinley in the first round. I loved it. I was really hoping they were going to do it. I thought they were going to do it. They did it. I'm proud of them. I'm glad they did it. 6'1", 243-pound edge, 21 years old, going to be 21 throughout the season. Uber athletic, but did not qualify for an RAS score. Had 6.5 sacks, 7 hurries, 10.5 TFLs, 60 tackles, 2 PBUs on the season. Was a 2024 Buckus Award winner, third-team All-American, and second-team SEC selection in 2024. Again, an A- for me. Love them ending the drought. I think he fits for them just a little bit early for him. James Pierce Jr., an edge out of Tennessee, they traded up to the 26th pick with the Rams, setting over 46, 242, and a first-rounder next year for 26 and 101. Now, this one, I would like James Pierce Jr. a lot. I love the value for him here. Like I said, 26. He was my 18th player on my big board. He was my third overall edge. He was the fifth one taken off the board. So love the value positionally. I think it's a good value for my big board. Again, they needed edge, so I think it's beautiful for them. This trade really, really, really just kind of makes this grade. I gave it a B+. Because you're trading away that first next year, that's really going to depend on how well this trade works out. Because like I said, the vision for this class, what they're telling me is they think they can win this division by just helping their edge room, helping their secondary. And if they do, that means they're making the playoffs. That means they get a first round pick and somewhere in the 20s. And if you get a pick somewhere in the 20s, then this was a win of a trade because you got an electric edge rusher that's probably going to be super productive for you, that I think can play some early down reps on the weak side because he does see the game well, and he's a super splash playmaker off the weak side. Even if he doesn't have a great base, he can't defend the point of attack super well. He can fly down the line and sift through traffic for you, make TFLs on the backside. I like him as a weak side run defender. Super, super valuable for the spot. But if you don't win your division and you end up another like 7-win, 8-win type of season, maybe a 9-win season, the season doesn't go how you want it. Maybe one of your receivers gets injured, like I said before. Maybe, letting Drew Dahlman go and not replacing him really hurts the line. And you just end around 7 to 9 wins. you end with a top 15 pick again, but now your top 15 pick is with the Rams, and you have a lot of holes you need to fill on your team, and now you don't have a top 15 pick in next year's class. This would absolutely tank the grade on this selection. So that's why it gets a B+ for me. I love the player. I love him going to the Falcons. Don't love them doubling up this early because of the other needs, like I said before, but this could work out super well for them. If these two guys hit their upside, oh my gosh, this edge rush is going to be scary for so long. It can be so great for them. But if they don't make the playoffs this year, if those guys don't hit their upside, then this is going to look like a very, very, very bad trade for this team that, needed more positions than just two different positions in their first 4 picks. A 6'5", 245-pound edge, 21.5, had a 9.4 RAS score, and a 4.47, absolutely flies off the edge. You see it on tape, man. This guy's get off is incredible. Absolute athlete. He had a pick 6 in 2023, and you just see him fly down the field. No one's catching him, picking a ball off in the flat. Was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school, a 2-time first-team SEC selection in his 2 years starting at Tennessee. A lot of production. Was a lot more productive in 2023. A lot of people were hyping this guy up as a top 10 pick. Didn't have the same production, even though I still think the tape was very good. Falls a little bit. There was some character kind of maturity concerns, some people were saying, so probably slips a little bit down because of that. But on this scheme, man, beautiful fit for this scheme, man. Beautiful fit. With these two guys, I expect Braylon Trice to get some serious early down reps. A lot of their guys are very light. But for this scheme, they like kind of lighter bodies on the outside. It's kind of the mold they're looking for, so it works for them. Their next pick, Xavier Watts, a safety out of Notre Dame, trading up to 96 for this, the 23rd pick of the 3rd round, sending 101 in a 5th round next year to the Eagles for 96. I love this. An A+ for me. I think they needed a target safety in this class. He was my 2nd safety on the board, the 6th one off the board. I can't understand why he fell other than athleticism. Like I said in previous videos, man, intellectual, high IQ safeties can get away with subpar athleticism. And it's not even like he's a terrible athlete. He's not a plus athlete, more of an okay athlete. But this guy sees the game super well. He has great technique. He takes good angles. He's super physical. He has ball skills. I mean, I don't get it, man. A 6'4", 204-pound safety, going to be 24 kind of by the end of the season. A 5.79 RAS score, like I said, didn't test incredibly well. 6 interceptions, 10 PBUs, 82 tackles, 1 forced fumble, 3.5 TFLs, 13 missed tackles on the season. Very, very productive safety. A 2-time first-team All-American in his 2 years starting at Notre Dame. Was the 2024 Sugar Bowl defensive MVP and won the 2023 Nagurski Trophy in college. Like, all accolades, all of the production. On film, you see the just high IQ plays, the angles, the technique, the physicality, the ball skills. Like, I don't get how this guy falls to the end of the 3rd. I just don't, especially in a thinner safety class where there's not a ton of top-end talent. I think this was one of the steals, if not the steal of the draft for them. I think he's going to start this year for them, and he's going to be a good safety. Love this pick for them. Their next pick, they go Billy Bowman, a safety out of Oklahoma with the 118th pick, the 6th pick of the 4th round. No trade on this one. Going to be competing for a slot role right away for them. Kind of did that at Oklahoma. He played the majority of his snaps from the slot. Was a very, quick, twitchy, snappy slot defender for them. Had a 7.57 RAS score. I think he played better than he tested, and it's going to be brought down a little bit due to the measurables. Was 5'10", 192, so not the biggest safety in the world. Is 22, going to be 22 throughout the season. Had 2 interceptions, 3 PBUs, 54 tackles, 2.5 TFLs, and 15 missed tackles on the season. A lot of missed tackles. He is a smaller type of player. He is more of a coverage slot than a kind of big nickel or early down kind of nickel player. I still think he's going to help this team a lot when they go into, 2-minute, or they go into dime defense, even going into like 3rd down nickel. I think he's going to help this team a lot. But again, it is a double up of another safety, even though if he is another nickels type of safety, you need center, you need some more wide receivers. If you're going to double up on any secondary position, I'd want it to be outside corner. You have D. Alford there. I like Clark Phillips in the slot. like I said before, Mike Hughes, AJ Terrell, Mike Ford Jr. doesn't really push the needle for me. I like some more younger bodies in there, some more depth that's high upside. I still think there's a lot of good corners in this class at this spot. Again, I like it. He is going to be competing for a nickel spot, and I think he is going to get some nice snaps this year. I think he's a very nice player. Had 2 interceptions, or I already went over that. A 2024 third-team SEC selection and a 4-year starter at Oklahoma, so he's got a ton of experience. This is a very, very fun player to watch in coverage. Like I said, I like it, but they had a lot of needs, and I just don't think that getting another nickel in the room was one of them, especially one that's more of a nickel safety and not more of a nickel corner that might be able to flex to outside corner for you. So I like it. I don't love it. I do think this was around his range. I thought he was more of a 4th-round type guy. So I like the value on him. Their next pick, they go Jack Nelson, a left tackle out of Wisconsin, with 218, the 2nd pick of the 7th round. They got this pick from the Deion Jones trade all those years ago. Oh no, why am I blanking on which team they sent Deion Jones to? Don't hate me. that trade was old a bit ago. But that pick is from the Deion Jones trade. They take Jack Nelson, a left tackle out of Wisconsin. A 6'7", 314-pound tackle, 23 years old, going to be 23 throughout the season. Didn't qualify for a RAS score, but was a pretty decent mover. I like this a lot, I don't hate it for them. This was a guy who had 4 years starting at Wisconsin, has starts at left tackle and right guard. So he's played inside, he's played outside. I don't hate this team getting interior depth. I wish they got center. But, taking a full-size 6'7", 4-year starter from the Big Ten at the 7th round, I absolutely don't hate it. I don't think there was a ton of tackles left on the board that provide a ton of higher upside. So can't hate it at all. Just a solid pick. But overall, that's why this class gets a B. Gonna probably be my shortest video in this entire series. All these videos have been like 27 to 30 something minutes. This one, very, very short and simple. Only 5 picks. The first 4 picks were 2 different positions in the first 4 rounds. So not a ton to talk about, a lot of doubling up. Again, it's a B for me. I love the players they got. Xavier Watts is one of the steals in the class to me, if not the steal of the class or the entire draft. I think he's an immediate starter for them and a plus starter. James Pierce Jr., I think, is going to be a great fit for this team and a great edge rusher for them. Just trading a next year's first to come up and double up on the edge position is going to make or break this team this year and next year. Because if you don't make the playoffs this year and you end up giving a top 15 pick away to the Rams, that's really, really hard to swallow, especially if these guys don't hit their upside sooner rather than later, especially because Jalen Walker is a very, very projection-based pick. Again, I like it for them, especially because it's edge. I think if he was to go to any team in the first, this team or the Cardinals was probably the best fit for him. But again, a very, very traitsy, projection-based pick. So not my favorite pick of the class, but overall, a very, very solid class. They're going to come in and help a lot this year, and I think it's a lot this year in terms of getting them to win the division. In terms of getting them farther than that, don't necessarily know because of some of the other holes left on their team. Down the road, depending on how far they get this season, can really help this team or really hurt this team. I don't love the fact that they don't have a first-round pick for next year, but again, very good players going to this team that's going to help them win now. A very solid class, a high-end B. This was very close, getting close to a B+, but not yet. So thank you guys. I really hope you guys appreciated it. Sorry it's much more of a shorter one, just not a ton to go talk about this class, but thank you guys. I really appreciated it. If you guys like what you're hearing and you're interested in seeing more, or you've listened to some of the other videos and you keep coming back, please hit that subscribe button. Highly motivating. All the clicks and stuff has been super highly motivating too, so I really do appreciate it, you guys. I really do, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you guys to all of you who stick around and watch me blabber about every class for this long. Really appreciate it. Have a great day.